right, you guys, we are live in effect. It is Thursday, so you know what time it is. It is time for the Locker Room Show, where it goes down, where we share the truth about the football industry with you. And tonight is going to be an amazing show. I got somebody in the locker room with tons of experience. He really cares about student athletes and their journey. So we're going to get to that in a second. But first of all, let me introduce my host with the most, my co-host Q, the Guru. What's going on, player?
What's going on, Coach? What's going on with you?
Man, you ready to go? We got a big week this week.
Yeah. We got a lot of good subjects we got to touch on, man. It's gonna be a great show. Dre, we appreciate you being on, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me. I mean,
sure.
It's an honor. You know what I'm saying? It should be pretty interesting.
Well, hold on. Let me set you up right. Let me set you up right, Big Dre. So before we let this gentleman talk right here that you see in the middle of the screen, still looking handsome and clean. And actually, you guys, coming from a Starbucks. So literally pulled over for the Locker Room Show to hold us down. This is none other than my brother, DAndre Swift. This is somebody, you guys, that I played football with, literally same class at the University of Colorado. Went on to become a college football All-American, was also a high school All-American, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But red carpet career, man, that doesn't mean it was easy, but it means that he took names and kicked ass. And he ended up becoming a second-round draft choice to the Dallas Cowboys, his home state. This is a Texas native. This is somebody that's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's played with the best of the best, and at times in his career was looked at as the best of the best. So we are honored, and I'm truly elated to bring in my dear friend and brother, DAndre Swift. What's going on, fam?
Man, appreciate it. There's a couple of details you left out that story, T Wood, that you need to tell a lot of things about. Let's go ahead and get right back into it. So T Wood knows this. Right?
I'm sipping my tea.
Yeah. Have you ever been recruited been on a recruiting trip and been told, hey, come join the best offensive line, and they gave you a pamphlet of who else committed to the college before you even committed? Has that ever happened to you?
No, I mean, that sounds like a Rick Neuheisel move.
Yes, it was. Come join the best offensive line. What? Now, our homie Victor Rogers, #1 offensive lineman in the nation, respect him on his game. Had no idea who he was. I'm like, I don't know where this dude's gonna go to school at, but I definitely learned. I was told, hey, you come join, come be a part of.
And actually became an anchor, you guys, to the best offensive line in the country at the time. And Dre was the man. So we appreciate having you on, man. We already got people joining us. I see Jimmy Rucker joining us.
Jimmy.
The Rucker man
how you doing, Jimmy?
is here. He's introducing himself. I see Mama Cindy coming from Colorado herself. So she knows what's up with Big Dre. And then, of course, we got Rick De Jesus coming out of California. Yep, and he's got a bad young wide receiver in his home at a junior college right now, and we'll be playing D1 football. So
I also want to take the time out for letting T Wood know that he helped me develop quick feet. I'll tell you why, because we used to play this game called left hand knockout. One day T Wood knocked the fat man's ice cream out of his hand.
Oh, that's a sin.
Yeah, so I flipped out and threw it at him. It hit him. So now I'm panicking because I'm like, I can't outrun T Wood. I just got to shake him. He went left, I went right. Yes. Got away with it.
So those are old war stories, you guys. Old athletic department war stories. And there's rules when you in the athletic department. And left hand knockout, you better not have your food in your left hand because it's gonna get knocked out.
Do not hang around the skinny dudes. If you're really hungry, you got ice cream in your left hand. Oh, it was the meal. I felt so sad when it hit the ground. I had sprinkles and everything on it. It was perfect. And we walked into class.
It's a cold game. It's a cold game out.
It's a cold game. So you guys, we got a big time show tonight, Dre. I know you're in Starbucks, so we're not gonna keep you long, brother. But we got some topics that we want to cover. And first and foremost, you guys, we're gonna get into this one. I think a former teammate of yours, Dre, and this is a good story. Quincy Carter used to play for the University of Georgia, Dallas Cowboys quarterback, says that he was battling alcohol and drug abuse, you guys, but now he is sober, 3 years sober. And the reason I want to bring this to light is because a lot of times we see these guys playing at a high level, you guys, and we don't understand what they're getting into off the field. And let's start with you, Dre. I mean, when you think back to college, when you think back to the pros, what percentage of guys would you say really had a drug or alcohol problem?
I would say there are quite a few guys in the league when you're dealing with performing at the highest level and your body is hurting and pain, you tend to do things that you really don't want to do. But in particular, it's so interesting you brought up Quincy. Quincy is a phenomenal teammate, a great man, has a great story. I spoke to him on the phone with another friend of mine about 3 weeks ago. And so funny, I remember first game I ever played, T. Wood, you'll laugh at this. I'm in Houston, got drafted by the Cowboys. I go back home, it's the Houston Texans' first game. The loudest stadium I've ever heard at that time. I had never heard anything like that. I'm looking around, I hear the play, I completely forget the play and the snap count, and I'm the center. No, I'm talking my eyes just like that, like, did not know the play, did not know the snap count, nothing. Quincy was the guy who was quarterback at the time and saw me panicking and was like, hey, big fella, calm down. Snap the ball, run to your left. Okay, I got it. So he was that type of guy that he was struggling with those things, but he would have Bible study for us. I remember going to Quincy's house for Bible study. Yeah. And I can't be so to see the turnaround that he's made, to see the man that he is. That's the Quincy that I knew that was my teammate when I was young. And he really, truly looked out for me and really kept me out of a lot of different situations.
That's amazing. Q, talk to me. I mean, when you were at Kansas, did you have teammates that were maybe balling on Saturdays, but, were having a tough time battling something?
I mean, yeah, man, like Dre said, man, a lot of times, man, injuries, you're doing stuff, man, so you can get through and play next week. Nobody wants to be, you can't make the club if you're in the tub. That's the league, college or especially in the league. So, you're going to do what you got to do. And unfortunately, that sometimes involves some substances, man, to end up getting you hooked on it and you going down this rabbit hole, man.
But it's even deeper than that, Q, because I can tell you that man who would say that comment you said, you can't make the club in the tub, Mr. Bill Parcells, love this dude, respect him. I don't know if you can imagine being put in a situation where you have a girlfriend in college, your wife, right? You have a girlfriend in college, she's pregnant, she's having a child, you're in training camp, you got to make a decision. You're gonna go be with see the birth of your child, or you gonna stay at training camp? Because the pressure of trying to provide for your family, you got to question that. You got to make that decision while you're sitting there looking at a roster full of men that are as gifted as you are, and you want to be one of the lucky 53.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dre, and that speaks to the real pressure that some of these young men are literally going through as we speak. And let's go on to our next topic, you guys, and this one is young Sanders, not Deion Sanders, though. His son, Shador Sanders, who you guys see on the screen. This is the quarterback for HBCU Jackson State, and he recently was showing off the ice, fellas. He was showing off the new icy chain that you guys see in the middle of the screen. This is his logo for his LLC, and he says it's time to make plays on and off the field. So talk to me a little bit, Q. Do you think Prime Time is pulling his son aside and saying, we're not showing the ice, we don't want to be a target? Or do you think Prime Time saying, shine, young son, shine?
You know what I mean? It is what else can he say but that? I mean, he's the one that started it. He started the gold chains. He started that style. The fur coats and the chains and the 5-finger rings. He started that. So it's almost like, what do you say to your son when you the one that kicked it off?
Okay, all
What can
right.
you say?
That's a good point. Dre, talk to me, because obviously, you know Prime. Do you think behind closed doors? He's okay.
Must be the money.
Must be the money.
What you
Listen, he told you a long time ago.
right.
He didn't lie to you. It's about branding, and it's about these kids getting the opportunity to monetize a lot of times off of what the NCAA has monetized off of. T Wood, you know it yourself. You get to college, at least we were blessed to have that talk by the late Dr. E.J. Crease when he told us, son, you're here for school and football. So, with that being said, and when you look at, does it need to be governed? I think it needs to be governed. I think that they have to figure out a way to like truly do this. But the other part that is very interesting about it is you have these kids getting all this money, and the NCAA hasn't said anything. So how much money is the NCAA really making? We can pay out a couple kids get a couple million. That's no problem. How much are they really making to let that amount of money go and not be bothered at all?
But how much, you guys, can a young man show before he becomes a target? I mean, can I put my dollars out on the table?
Don't do that. Because there are way too many people out here that don't have than do have. And you have to understand, even when Deion was doing that stuff, that was a character. That's not truly who Deion Sanders really is.
True.
And his kids aren't like that at all either. They're very well mannered, very respectable. So it's for a show. I think what happens in an athlete's mind is that you begin to think that the cheers and applause are for you, and you forget that it's for the gift that you actually possess. And if you can always remember that the cheers and applause are for my gift that I happen to be in possession of, you can find that fine line between getting caught up in all of the things that's going on right now.
Wow, that's big. That's big. So you guys got to keep your focus, or keep people around you that are going to help you keep your focus. There are alter egos that can help you make some money, but you got to manage it. You got to manage it. So keep that in mind. We are on to our next topic, you guys. And if you're joining us live and this is your first time, welcome to the Locker Room Show. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. To the right is my host, my co-host, Q the Guru. And in the middle is the man, the myth, the legend, college football All-American, 5-time Pro Bowler, Dallas Cowboys great, Andre Gerard. So this is our next topic, you guys. And obviously we are in a new era of football at the college level. And now we've got young men that talk about they want a union, Big Dre. They want a union, and Penn State wants to be the school to kick it off. They want some of that TV money, Q, and they just want some more rights. So talk to me a little bit, Dre. Do you think we see a union at the college level in the next 4 or 5 years?
First of all, I want to know where was all this activity when we were in college.
Right.
Like, this is ridiculous. But I'm proud of these young men for standing up and trying to do something to protect themselves against things that may happen to them in college. Will it change the face of football? Yes, it will. I think that years ago, T Wood, correct me if I'm wrong, the scholarships used to be, if you got a scholarship, it was for 5 years. Then when we got into school, the scholarship was for 5 years, but they would renew your scholarship every year in case they wanted to continue. Now it's 5 1-year scholarships, so there's really nothing guaranteed. So if that is the case and it's becoming a business, and you may get some injuries because you don't pan out after 2 years, there should be some things that cover you medically at least 4 to 5 years after college.
Now, as far as, because you know how unions move, you were a part of a union with the NFL. You have to move collectively. Do you think that it should be by conference or all college football players?
I think that if you can get, and Penn State has a foothold because they're in the Big Ten, but if you can get the Big Ten and just say the SEC to do that, all the other conferences will fall in line.
Oh,
Now,
so,
here's
yeah.
the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, because I'm going to tell you this. This is the truth. There are going to be some people that should make a move and speak up for this thing that are getting some major NIL deals that ain't going to say nothing.
Yeah.
Because see, that bag is going to keep you from, if we're being real, that bag is going to keep you real quiet. Do I risk what's, and that's a great question, but you're putting a young man in a bad position. Do I do what's right for all my teammates, or do I go ahead and take this $2.5 million that don't nobody know about?
Yeah.
Talk to me, Q. You in Kansas? You about to get the Thorpe? You know, there's people putting money in your pocket.
Oh,
Are you worried about the collective whole? Or
you got paid, didn't you? You got paid. Yeah, you was at Kansas.
That's why I put the shape.
I know about y'all in K-State, boy. Yeah,
he's at KU.
I never seen one school have 3 generations of Locketts in one school. I'm telling you,
that's true. Okay. That's true. Here's the thing, though, Dre. I can definitely agree with you with that. But I guess my question is, Big Dre, I'm sure you'll agree too. When you have a union, if these kids aren't getting paid by the university, other than NIL deals, well, how do you pay dues? You got to have paid dues in order to have a union. Yeah. So it's like, well, where would the union get the dues from if the kids are not getting paid? That's my whole thing.
Okay, let's say that you're on the team. So so you're on the team, college, whatever. They don't have a practice squad.
Right.
Your dues should get paid in your scholarship. Make your scholarship a part of the dues.
You can do that. Right. You can do that. I mean, well, you got to think, guys. Remember, I don't know if you all heard about. It was Texas Tech, and they put the whole team on an NIL deal. Everybody gets like $25,000 minimum
through the collective, but the schools aren't going to want to pay the dues. If the dues for a union protecting the student athletes, that's going to have to come out of the student athletes' pocket.
Right. So if it comes out of the scholarship, then
the schools are tied.
Then the schools are tied in and they don't feel a certain type of way. But at the same time, think about this. You also got to take this into account, T. Wood. The NIL deals are infamous for football, basketball. There may be a couple of track people here and there.
Right.
But the majority of these sports are not going to get these deals. So what you're saying basically is what you make legal is the fact that people can now donate to particular programs. Remember when we were in college, we had donors that wanted to donate specifically to the football program.
Yeah.
We had to spread that money out through the whole entire university. Now you've got it to where now I can do this.
Can go.
And you're going to see some programs ascend and you're going to see some programs fall because they don't have enough money.
True. But you got to look at it too, guys. The reason that the union is needed is what about the guys, man, that are great players that get banged up to the point where, like, I'll give you a great example. Big Dre, you might remember as well. T, you remember that, I can't remember his first name, the running back from South Carolina. His last name was Lattimore. He was a horse.
Yeah.
And tore his knee like 3 times in college. So by the time he got, he got, I think he went like 6th or 7th round to the 49ers, but he was ran the crap by then. He had 3 knee surgeries all in college. What about those type of kids? They're a beast, but they get broke up so bad in college. If they even get a shot at the league, they'll never be. They're only a shell of their former self. And what about, them? Where's the compensation for them? Because you see, so
I'll tell you one sneaky thing that most colleges have in place when something comes to that. So depending on where you are ranked, if you're a high-profile athlete coming out of college, the university will bring you this insurance policy. And so you 19, 20, 21 years old, like, why is the university taking the insurance policy out? And you just sign the paperwork, not knowing that you have to pay that money back for the insurance policy. So the university is covering you because of where you're position that you could possibly go or get drafted. So
that's interesting. I wonder if they make the athletes pay it now with NIL.
That's what my question was.
Well, the thing is, when they paid for the insurance up front. I was charged for the insurance when the season was over.
On the back end.
Yeah. So they still do the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. So some universities do it just to protect you. Some universities don't. I went to a university that happened. I didn't know what I was signing, but they kind of explained it to me. I was like, oh, okay. So if something happens, but it still didn't click in my head the price that they put on me, because they let me know, because that price
They might have got a piece too. If you got hurt, they might have took some and gave you some. That's a big. Okay, so let's go on that. We'll carry that one on another locker room
show. Absolutely.
We're keeping it real, like I told you guys. So we are on to our next topic, you guys, and this is a huge one. Dre, I'm really, really interested in your opinion on this. And this is athletes, you guys, being the rock of their family. I mean, obviously, you're making money, you're doing things. You know, you're the man of the family, naturally, by nature. But there's a lot that falls onto these guys, and I know that both of you guys have had a lot fall on you. Dre, is there any training? Is there any teaching as far as just how to balance family dynamics, man, when you're in a high pressure, high money situation?
I can tell you that it's hard, man. I can tell you it's hard. I've seen a lot of guys with families that use the sport to even get away from their families. But you have to be able to communicate, and you have to have that woman that's on your side that can bring peace to you once you leave this hectic job. And what you're seeing in these pictures are women that seem to support, I mean, and basically inspire the husband so that everything's under control when they're at work. They don't have to worry about things. Some have careers, some are doing other things, but that peace of mind definitely brings a peace to your life.
That's big right there. Q, I mean, obviously you play some pro ball. It's hard to be traveling and also keeping an eye on the family, let alone maybe your parents or anything like that. Did you find it hard to balance everything, or did it just naturally come easy for you?
No, it definitely didn't come easy. It's one of those things where, man, you don't. Sometimes if you don't have a mentor, especially, whether it's a father or uncle, whoever, it gets really, really difficult, man. And a lot of times, the pressure can't get to some of these guys, and that sometimes that's why they end up making poor decisions that ends up affecting their careers. And that's why we need to start developing more programs and get these guys, some type of support system, because it's the weight of the world is on your shoulders, man. As a professional athlete with your family. Dre, I guess I don't know how it was with your family, but a lot of guys, man, everybody's car notice due. Everybody's rent is due. This person needs groceries. They need an electric bill paid. Your nephew needs some Jordans. It's like everybody comes out the woodwork, and it sometimes it's just too much.
You definitely have to find a balance, because you'll wind up finding yourself running empty and you don't have anything else, because everybody's making withdrawals and nobody's making deposits.
Absolutely. And the thing is, what's funny is the world thinks that a lot of professional athletes, like you hear these numbers go across the bottom of the screen on ESPN where, this guy signed for this many years or this much. And Dre, like, I'm sure you can tell the people sometimes when you look at that, it looks great on paper, but if you're playing for the 49ers or you're playing for Oakland, with California taxes is eating you up, you got to pay 3% to your agent. So that's just on paper. That's not what you're bringing home. So, when all the family starts asking for all this stuff, it's difficult because they don't understand all of that, and they're looking at you like, well, what you going to do? Say you ain't got it? ESPN just said, you got this one. It's hard to say no. So guys end up going broke. Not because they spend it on themselves, it's their family that has them end up
feeling obligated.
Yeah, because it's hard to say no.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys, and I talk to guys about this, and love to try to help guys in this capacity. Not saying that I know anything, but those guys need to, in that situation, look at ways that they can create revenue by being an entrepreneur. And You have the discipline to be a professional athlete. You have the discipline to be an entrepreneur. But a lot of guys aren't told that. A lot of guys don't show that. And there's ways that you can go about investing and getting things so that, just like if I told you that, okay, big mama, dad, whatever, they got some things going on. They got house, no, they got this, they got that, right? A lot of things happen. Don't know, you from Kansas, right? From Kansas, right?
St. Louis,
yeah, KU.
St. Louis,
yeah.
okay. So if I told you, hey, you got your LLC set up, you put some money in the LLC from your salary.
Right.
There's this laundromat that's for sale. This laundromat's going to cost you $110,000, but this laundromat makes $250,000 a year. Net.
Yep.
So it's an investment. Well, you can put Big Mama and Mama on as working at the laundromat. It's not in y'all's family. That laundromat is paying them and it's paying you. You took a loss up front, but over time, y'all took that laundromat, bought another laundromat. Now you're empowering your family because that's just a different way of thinking. But we're not told that. We're not
absolutely not. Yep. That is absolutely, and that's
big.
The way you should do it. That's the way you should do it. But it's most athletes, they just are constantly reaching in their pocket, and they're not finding a way to help their family long term. Mm-hmm. They're just putting Band-Aids on a bullet wound. So,
and we're on to our next topic. No, you guys, hey, I told you guys get the truth in the locker room, and these guys are really sharing real stories and real advice that you guys need to take advantage of. Some of you guys will have some money in your pocket, and once you do, people will find out, you guys. So be ready for that. And speaking of having some money in your pocket or making good or bad decisions, the next topic, you guys, is real life transitions. Some football players transition fabulously, like you see Michael Strahan here, and then unfortunately Dre Q, some don't, like you see Darren Sharper getting sentenced to 20 years. You see Clinton Portis here lost $50 million. And it's just tragic, man, because like I said, a lot of these people were the rock for their family. Dre, you have been able, which I'm so happy for and proud of you for, man. You've been able to transition fairly successfully, at least from outside looking in.
I can say that it's still a work in progress, man, and I can tell you that, and I cut you off because this is something that's very, very near and dear. We talked about, we alluded to it earlier, about you dream so much and you do so much just to get to one point, and the cheers from Pop Warner through middle school through high school, you're the man. And then you get out of this world, and what you had and what you put all your time and effort into is gone. Sometimes, hopefully, if it's your decision, it's by your choice, because your body just got tired and you don't want to do it anymore. Other times, the decision gets taken away from you. You don't know why the decision got taken away from you. So what's helped me out, and I have to understand, is that before anything, you have to understand what your purpose is. And that takes a whole lot of deep soul diving to even understand it. And so I had a business partner of mine expose me to Miles Monroe. He exposed me to some deep questions that I had to answer to get me out of certain situations. And I'll share two of them with you. And the second one is a doozy, because the second one actually caused me not to go to sleep for 7 days straight. I could not sleep peacefully. The first one is where you from? Well, we're spirits. We're from God. We get that. The second question, which is the hardest question to you understanding your purpose, is why are you here?
Right.
And you have to look into that and dig into that to really come out of that trap of thinking, man, I'm just gonna be known as this. Man, I'm just gonna be known as that. No, you're a beautifully, wonderfully made individual, and there's not another person on this earth like you that's not an exact copy of you.
Right.
Now you just have to figure out what you're passionate about and what you want to go do.
Right.
That's big.
Right.
That's big.
Q,
talk to me. When you looked around the locker room on some of the football teams you were on, man, and then now you're looking at where some of these guys are at. Are the guys you thought would be successful long term? Are they successful, or is it guys you didn't even think of that transition well?
You know what? It's a little bit of both. You know, I guess I kind of saw it firsthand. Like, you know, my father was a 20-year Marine. You know, recently passed, but it was like I grew up around a bunch of Marines, right? So I already saw that with guys getting out of the military, which is the exact same concept as us transition. We're civilians now. You see what I mean? We're going from warriors with this helmet on. Now we're civilians. You see what I mean? And it's very, very difficult when you don't hear the crowd anymore. It's like, man, I'm mortal now. You know, so what do I do with myself? And Dre, it goes right back to what you were saying, that you really have to dig deep and do some soul searching and find your purpose and what you're really passionate about. Because if not, man, when the days you take your helmet off, you're gonna be lost, man. Yeah. And that's when guys start getting into substance abuse and what have you, simply because they're lost. They have no idea what to do with themselves or how to move forward in life. They stuck. It's like purgatory, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of guys start at the bottom. You guys, I went from playing in front of 60, 70, 80K to putting out fresh breakfasts at a Holiday Inn Express, you know, and nobody ever told me that was going to be a part of the story, you know. So then you got to look deep in the mirror and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because none of those coaches that recruited you are going to be saying, hey, you need a couple dollars.
Yeah. And what they also have to understand is, just because you're at one spot right now doesn't make you a failure. What makes you a failure is when you absolutely quit even trying. True. So you can still navigate through anything and get to where you want to go. Some of the greatest people in life have lost it all and came back. It can happen.
Good point.
That is true.
Good point. All right, you guys. So we are on to our next topic, and we got Big Dre for a little while longer. We definitely appreciate your time, man. But we are on to the lightning round. The lightning round is where it goes down, you guys. And we got a little lightning round. It's got to sound a bit big. In the future, we'll have a sponsor for the lightning round. But it is time for the lightning round. And Dre, this is our word association part of the program, man. So you got 60 seconds. I know you in Starbucks, so don't get too hyped. But you got 60 seconds. You're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind when I say something. I got my stopwatch here. Now, this isn't just a drill. This isn't just a drill. We actually got a prize on the line. We got a prize on the line. So our number is 12. If you can get past 12, then you got a hotel stay and a dinner on the Locker Room Show. Okay. Now, okay. I expect you. See, now he done done. You guys.
Yeah, he's ready now.
Now this ain't a Jerry Jones. This ain't a Jerry Jones dinner though.
It don't matter.
But I got you.
A Golden Corral is fine too. And don't worry about that. Come on, let's go.
Okay, now we're talking, Houston. Now we're talking. So let me get my stopwatch ready. And obviously, I'm rooting for my Cell Block teammates. So Cell Block is what you're going to hear some of us Colorado Buffaloes call each other from the 1997 class, because we were all promised a chance to step on the field as freshmen. And they redshirted all of us except for one of us. So don't talk to me about being lied to.
T Wood is some of the reasons why we got some of the most epic fights ever in life. T Wood.
Well, listen. So this is my Cell Block brother. He done been locked down, and I'm praying that he comes through for this win, because the Buffaloes need a win in this day and age. So we got our stopwatch. I'm not cheating him, and I never would. You ready to go, Big Dre?
Let's go.
All right. And we're going to give Dre, just like we gave, who did we have last? We had DJ Uyangalele's dad, the quarterback from Clemson. Yeah, he was in the car. So we gave him one extra for the time delay, because Dre is in Starbucks. We're going to give him one extra. So whatever he gets. Yeah. Remember, Dre, we got to get 12 or higher. So we about to get started.
Okay.
Number 1, Emmitt Smith. Go.
Teammate, kind of, can be arrogant. Next one.
Doc Crease.
One of the hardest and craziest strength coaches I know. Mm-hmm.
Terrell Owens.
One of the most underrated and one of the best teammates I had.
Scarface or UGK?
Ooh, Scarface is the legend. UGK is the town, so I gotta go with Space.
North Shore High School.
Earn the right to win. That's what we do.
Jerry Jones.
Hey, great owner to play for. Loves the game.
Pork chops or steak?
Oh, steak all the way.
KFC, Popeyes, or Cane's?
Popeyes.
Boulder, Colorado. 50 seconds.
A crazy place. Great place to play football.
Bill Parcells. Let's go, Dre.
Respect them. Hard coach to play for.
Kevin Durant or LeBron? Time. You got a little bit left. You got a time. So, all right. So we're gonna go back to a couple of these. Let me add them up. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're giving them 11. 11. Oh man. So we came up one short. And Damon Patterson, if you're watching, you're still number one. So
I should be able to answer that last question. He said LeBron.
Well, go ahead. You going KD or LeBron?
LeBron. So I'm 12.
Okay.
I
I was getting concerned when he said, I don't know about Popeyes over that cane sauce or something. That cane sauce and that Texas toast.
Now, if you would have said Popeyes or Whataburger, I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that Texas.
That cane sauce will get you, though.
Yeah,
and Big Jimmy says you can't beat free 99. It don't matter where you're going if it's free. So we're going to go to our last section, you guys. And thank you, Dre, for having some fun with us. We always love that, and our audience loves that. But our last section is audience Q&A. So if you are an audience member, you're live right now, feel free to drop a question in the chat, in the comment section, which is open if you have a question for Dre. But I'm going to take one that I have for myself. When you made the transition, I mean, you were All-American in high school, and then you went to college, and then you were All-American in college and went to the pros. Which one was the harder transition for you, and why?
Probably the harder transition was college to pro. It's one thing to make the league. It's a completely different thing to make it in the league. And making it in the league, once you get your routine, because there were things that were built in when I was in college. Once you get that routine of studying film, preparing, knowing the playbook in and out, knowing what your position and trying to master what you do, every single aspect of it, you'll make it in the league. Now, making it to the league is going to be what you do in college. A lot of guys don't understand what it means to be a professional. So one key I would tell to guys is if you go in the locker room and you look around and you see a whole bunch of playbooks, do not be that person to leave a playbook in the locker room. Coaches go back and look for it, just like they'll look at your iPad if you're watching film. So if you know they're going to do that, just go ahead and beat them to it. Go ahead and study a playbook. Go ahead and watch some film. Everything will be okay.
That's true. And Dre, tell them, and they will figure out quickly if you're not a professional, because tell them, Dre, that Turk will find you.
Oh, he will find you. Yeah,
Turk will come get you.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is that they had to put a study clause in Kyler Murray's contract. That's crazy.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Most people don't know that.
But that comes from guys like Jamarcus Russell that never looked at tape and ever didn't study the playbook or anything, because I have a newfound respect for quarterbacks and offensive linemen, because if you, it's so many audibles and plays. Like, defense is a little bit simpler, just in my opinion, but it's so many different audibles and calls in an offensive playbook. And for your O-line to have to know, and the quarterback is unreal. I have no idea how you boys digest all of it.
Hey,
I have no clue.
You got to figure out a way to learn it, make it yours. So easy, like for example, easy way. So let's say we're on the same team. I've studied the playbook, but you're my left guard, T Wood's my right guard. vice versa, whatever. Right? I'm gonna figure out certain things that you know that you like that'll make the game easier. So one of the things that I may do is say, if I'm working towards you, or I want to get your attention, I'm gonna say anything about Kansas, Lawrence, Wildcat, Jayhawk. If I'm going towards T. Wood, anything with the Bay Area, E40, California, whatever it is.
I got you.
So then you start to feel comfortable with, wait a minute, I don't have to worry about the playbook. I just gotta listen to the center.
Got you. Because you giving buzzwords. Yeah. I got you. Okay.
But that's a veteran move.
It is.
And that speaks to why Dre was a Pro Bowler. Dre, before I let you go, give me your top 3 defensive players that you played against.
Come on, man. That's not fair, man. That's not fair.
Try it. Let's give it a shot.
Top 3. It's gonna shock you. John Randall, Warren Sapp. So the third one is tough.
What about Goose?
Who?
Tony Saragusa?
No, I didn't get a chance to really play against Goose. I did play against Big Casey Hampton though.
Richard Seymour.
He was a house.
I played against Richard Seymour once, so I'm thinking about people that I played once.
Maybe Did you ever see Dwight Freeney?
I did see Dwight. Matter of fact, that's a funny story because Dwight and I came in the draft together, and
Dwight had that nasty
I put Dwight up there, but I'm gonna tell you, it was 3 moves. It was so fast though. So
that spin move, man.
I remember rookie year. I was telling Flo Adams about Dwight Freeney. He said, "No, man, I got it." I said, "No, Flo, you don't understand.
I'm telling you,
you don't understand how fast this dude is."
That spin move.
Like, so the ball was snapped. Dwight was 3 steps past Flo. I was like, "I told you, dude. I've never seen that like that."
Off, I'm telling
like,
you.
This dude is out. And then
this is a question I want to ask you because you play with multiple quarterbacks, obviously, college, pros. What does it take? Because we have some quarterbacks in our program, and before you go pro, that are trying to win a job, trying to win a college job. As a center, as a lineman, what are you looking for from that quarterback as far as intangibles? What is something? Is it the way he looks you in the eye? Is it the way he commands the huddle? Who was one? Yeah. What was it when you can think back, Dre, to some of them quarterbacks that you were like, I'll kill somebody for this dude? What was it about him?
I'll tell you this before, because you asked a great question. It's the intangibles of how and if he knows how to lead men. I asked this question, and this is one question that quarterbacks should understand. It's a crazy question. What's more powerful, a group of lion led by a sheep, or a group of sheep led by a lion? So if I got a lion and quarterback, we good, because he's gonna make all the sheep think that they lion anyway.
Facts.
Now if I got a group of lion,
I like that,
and he's a sheep, we're gonna eat him up.
Yeah.
But the best thing would be a group of lion getting led by a lion. You see, now we can go.
Can you tell that quickly?
A lion leading lions. So,
I mean, as far as that quarterback, when you get this rookie in here, or when you get somebody in the huddle,
you can see him progress. You can see the command. You can see his poise. You can see how he's just reacting to certain things. Like some people react, and some guys are proactive, which is why I say Tom Brady is a great quarterback. One of the greatest I've ever seen. I will tell you that defenses cringed at preparing for Peyton Manning more than preparing for Tom Brady. It's 2 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's one is running the whole offense through his head the whole entire time with nothing around. Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The other one is just like a surgeon. You are not going to get him off this game.
Yeah. But Peyton was so cerebral, man, and Romo was too. It's like the way that they compute everything. They were always so many steps ahead of everyone, man, defensively, man, and that's what really makes them. But I'm glad you said that, Dre, because you young quarterbacks, that are listening, you have to understand the position is so much more than progressions and a big arm. It's so much more than that. And a lot of these kids, they think, hey, I'm 6'5", 230, and I have the measurables, and I can make, the 60-yard skinny post on a frozen rope. But it goes back to, can you lead me? So I'm so glad that you said that, because a lot of these quarterbacks, they going into school, and that's why they end up falling short in D1 programs, or they're in school and they don't progress to get an opportunity maybe to play in the league, because they're just not great leaders, man. They're not cerebral with their game, and it's not, the position is not all about, about a big arm, man. It's not.
Absolutely.
That's big. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I mean, you dropped the hammer, as you always do. I told you guys that Dre keeps it real, and it's because he really cares about the next generation knowing the truth. So I love you, Cell Block, and I'll be talking to you, man. Stay safe.
Appreciate you, Big Dre.
Call me anytime. Yeah, we're gonna talk more about this whole Kansas pavement that you.
Oh, we got to.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Cool.
That's all after dark.
Come back anytime, man.
Appreciate it, guys. You be safe.
All right, now.
All right, you guys. So hey, that is Big Dre, and dear friend, man, heart of gold. And Q, he's always gonna shoot it from the hip.
No doubt, man. Definitely, man. Love having him on. Welcome back anytime. But man, definitely was giving some good sauce. This evening on the show, man, for sure.
And man, I mean, literally, the NFL guys are in camp. The college guys, we got college kids flying off. They're getting ready to do battle. Everybody is undefeated. Everybody got their eye on that starting spot on the depth chart. Everybody's healthy.
Right.
Is there anything you want to say to these young warriors?
It's time to
kick off.
It's time to strap it up now. If you're not with the ones, it's time to get in that playbook, minimize your mistakes. And one thing I always tell young athletes, especially any guys fighting for a starting spot, play fast. Play fast. Play at a different level of speed than everybody else out there. But be safe, but go hard and win your spot.
Yep, I love it. I love it. So, hey, there you guys have it. I know you got value out of tonight's show. Hopefully, you guys are ready for this upcoming season. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast, because we are putting out a valiant effort to teach you guys everything we possibly can about this industry. We want to game you up so that you guys can take it to the next level, and so that you really know the business side of things. So click the subscribe button below Q. I know it's on the right-hand side, your right-hand side if you're watching us. And please share with any athletes, any parents, any coaches because we want to grow this community. We want to take this show to the top, and we want you guys along with us. So thank you for tuning in tonight. And Q, anything for the audience before we get out of here?
Just appreciate everyone tuning in. Definitely passing on to coaches, family, and friends. And we definitely will have a awesome show for you next week.
Yes, indeed. And Jimmy Rucker, we love you, man. The information from your guests helps me out a lot, and that's all we want to do, man. So keep tuning in, keep holding us down, and we will see you guys next week. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you at the top.